Have you guys heard of Clara Crane, also known as the Candy Lady, who allegedly lures kids out with candy in her note that says come and play, and the kids are never heard from again? Well, here is her legend. In the sleepy town of Terrell, Texas, it was once home to Clara Crane, who goes by the internet alias Cady Lady, and was born in 1871. Leonard Gilbert Crane, her husband, was an older gentleman. They had a little girl called Marcella. Leonard was a farmer and a known alcoholic, and tragically, Marcella died in an accident out in the fields when she was just 5 years old. Clara blamed Leonard for her death, even more so after she found out that he had been drinking at the time of the accident. Fast forward 2 years, still stricken with grief and years of psychosis, Clara decided to take revenge. She laced a few of her husband's favorite candies, caramels, with poison and offered them to him. He died as a result of eating the laced caramels. The next day, a neighbor came by to check on Clara after noticing her, quote, shaken and frenzied state, end quote. Clara was then taken to custody after becoming aggressive towards County Sheriff Fred Springer, whom the neighbor had called. The sheriff discovered what had happened to Leonard, so Clara was placed on trial for first-degree murder. Instead of receiving life in prison, Clara was incarcerated in North Texas Lunatic Asylum, now known as the Terrell State Hospital. In Terrell State Hospital, she was raped and abused for years under warden Dr. Vernon Matthews and his staff. She was later released in 1899, and another source said she was released in 1903 due to overcrowding. And this is where the urban legend begins. According to local lore, children began to go missing near the old Crane property in 1903. Other children found candy wrappers on their windowsills that were signed by the Cady Lady. The local sheriff also vanished, and his body was later found in a ditch. Forks were stabbed in his eyes, and his pockets were stuffed with candy. Also, a town farmer came across rotten teeth out in the field. The teeth were small, that they could have belonged to children. Another version said that within weeks of her release, she vanished from sight. And soon after, the town folks began finding caramels left on their windowsills at night with messages inside telling them to come and play. Kids started to go missing, the children of the very people who tormented her during her stay at the asylum, leading Sheriff Dixon to conclude that Clara must have been responsible for the abductions. So a search party was formed, driven deep into Clara's cornfields by the thirst of a witch hunt. Sheriff Dixon was found days later with forks stabbed in his eyes, and the only evidence gathered of the missing children were their small bloody teeth nestled inside paper caramel wrappers. Dearest Aggie, I am elated. I have been informed by Dr. Matthews that Marcy and I will be returning home in less than 3 weeks. As you can imagine, Marcy can barely contain her excitement. Every night she asks, "Is tomorrow the day when we go home, Mother?" Very soon I will be able to tell her yes. Our stay here has been somewhat of a trial, though I have been grateful to the good doctor and his staff and their dedication to our treatment and recover. Leonard's death had put us in such a severe state of melancholy, that I feared we would never escape it. These past few years have been more difficult than any in my life, and my dear Marcella, after all that she had to endure, had become my strength, my flame of hope. To this day, any time a kid goes missing, all the locals say the candy lady got them. Children believe that she takes them somewhere and pulls out their teeth or stabs them with a fork.